who is Jesus Christ? And why do Christians believe that he is God? Let's find out in today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to learn about the story of Jesus Christ, who was born as a human on earth, yet also God himself. The birth, life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ is one of the most influential stories ever told. It has inspired countless works of art, music, literature, and film. Even if you are not religious, you have probably heard some of the parables of Jesus or know of his existence simply because of how much he has impacted our world. In today's episode, let us look at the story of Jesus Christ from his birth until his death and resurrection through an AI animation. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe for more such amazing episodes. Also, we would like to thank all of our patrons for supporting us. A special shout out to our top patrons. If you would like to see your name on the screen and contribute to the creation of these videos, then please consider becoming a patron. The link is in the description below. Now, let's begin. The Gospel of Luke tells the story of Jesus' birth. According to this gospel, an angel appeared to a man named Zechariah while he was serving in the temple. The angel told him that his wife, Elizabeth, who was barren, would conceive and bear a son. They would name him John. When John was born, he would be a prophet who would go ahead of the Messiah. But what made this birth miraculous was that both Zechariah and Elizabeth were very old. Elizabeth was related to the royal line of King David, and her husband, Zechariah, belonged to the order of priests. Yet God chose them to be the parents of John the Baptist, who would prepare the way for Jesus. Soon after this, another angel visited a young virgin named Mary. This angel told her that she had been chosen by God to give birth to a son whom she should name Jesus. He would be the Son of the Most High. The angel said that Jesus would inherit the throne of his father David and rule over Israel forever. Mary was engaged to be married to Joseph, a descendant of David. When Mary realized that she was pregnant, she went to see him. According to Matthew's Gospel, Joseph was initially upset because Mary was pregnant before their marriage. But when an angel appeared to him in a dream, everything became clear. The angel said that the Holy Spirit would come upon Mary and that the child she would conceive would be called Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. Then Joseph took Mary home. When he discovered that she was pregnant, he still didn't want to disgrace her, so he decided to divorce her quietly. But when an angel appeared to him in a dream, he learned that it was God's will for them to become man and wife. So Joseph took Mary as his wife, and soon she gave birth to Jesus in a nearby stable. Because there was no room for them in the inn, an ox and an ass were their only company. That night, angels appeared to some shepherds in the fields and announced the birth of Jesus. They said that he was the Christ, the Lord. Filled with joy, the shepherds hurried to see the newborn baby. Soon, 3 wise men from the east also came to worship Jesus. They had followed a star, which they believed was a sign from God. These 3 wise men brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh for the baby. When Jesus was born, many people saw it as a fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies. Some of these prophecies can be found in the book of Isaiah, where it is written, "Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." When Jesus was born, his parents took him to the temple in Jerusalem to be presented to the Lord, as was the custom. There they met an old man named Simeon. He took Jesus in his arms and said, "So, Lord, you are letting your servant depart in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared in the sight of all peoples, a light of revelation to the Gentiles and the glory of your people Israel." As Jesus grew older, he began to teach people about the kingdom of God. Many of his teachings were in the form of parables or stories with moral lessons. Jesus taught people to love their enemies, to turn the other cheek when someone slapped them, and to walk the extra mile with someone who forced them to carry their luggage. His teachings attracted a lot of attention. People loved listening to him, and many of them became his disciples. However, the religious leaders did not like his teachings. They thought that he was a troublemaker, and they wanted to get rid of him. When Jesus was about 30 years old, he was baptized by John the Baptist. After his baptism, he was tempted by the devil for 40 days in the wilderness. Finally, the devil left him, and angels came to serve him. Then Jesus began to call his disciples. His first disciples were fishermen, tax collectors, and a man who once worked as a toll collector. In total, Jesus had 12 disciples. Jesus and his disciples traveled all over Galilee, teaching people and healing the sick. Some of the miracles attributed to Jesus include healing a blind man, calming a storm, raising the dead, and feeding 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Though his miracles amazed people, the religious leaders remained suspicious of him. They argued that he cast out demons by the power of Satan and that he broke Jewish laws. After Jesus and his disciples celebrated Passover in Jerusalem, he rode into the city on the foal of an ass, just as it was predicted in the scriptures. The people who gathered to welcome him laid their coats and their cloaks on the ground for him to ride on. Many people shouted, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." But the chief priests and the teachers of the law were outraged. They reminded the people that it was forbidden to use the ass like this. The crowd replied that it was a prophecy. All they knew was that Jesus had come in the name of the Lord. After entering Jerusalem, Jesus went to the temple. He looked around and noticed that people were buying and selling animals for sacrifices. He made a whip out of cords and drove all the sellers out of the temple. He overturned the tables of the money changers and said, "It is written, 'My house shall be called a house of prayer,' but you have made it a den of robbers." From that day on, the Jewish leaders planned to kill Jesus. When Passover came, Jesus celebrated it with his disciples. During the meal, Jesus announced that one of his disciples would betray him and another would deny knowing him. He also told them that Peter would deny knowing him 3 times before the rooster crows. When Jesus and his disciples crossed the Kidron Valley, they came to a garden called Gethsemane. Here, Jesus told his disciples to pray and warned them not to fall into temptation. But they were all sleepy and could not help him. Jesus went a little further and fell to his knees, praying, "Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass me over. Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done." Then an angel from heaven appeared and gave him strength. Soon, Judas arrived with a crowd of soldiers and religious leaders. Judas greeted Jesus and kissed him. Then the soldiers arrested Jesus and bound him with ropes. Peter tried to defend Jesus and drew his sword, but accidentally cut off the ear of a servant. Then Jesus told Peter to put his sword away. He said that those who live by the sword will die by the sword. The soldiers led Jesus away to the house of the high priest. There, the religious leaders accused him of blasphemy and false prophecy. They asked him if he was the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One. Jesus said that he was. The high priest tore his clothes and said that Jesus had spoken blasphemy. According to Jewish law, Jesus should be put to death for blasphemy. Then Jesus was taken before the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. While being led to the governor's palace, Jesus carried a crossbeam. Many people followed him, including his mother, Mary, his disciple John, and some other women. When Pilate heard the accusations against Jesus, he asked him, "Are you a king then?" Jesus replied, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then my servants would be fighting to prevent my arrest by the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not from here." Pilate told the Jews that he found no fault in Jesus, but they insisted that Jesus should be crucified. Finally, Pilate gave in and ordered that Jesus be crucified. When it was time to crucify Jesus, his soldiers gave him vinegar mixed with gall to drink. They also nailed his hands and feet to the cross and raised the cross up so that he could be lifted up and put on it. Once they had fixed him on the cross, they cast lots for his clothes. As Jesus hung on the cross, people passed by and mocked him. The soldiers also mocked him, saying, "If you are the Son of God, save yourself." Other sayings attributed to Jesus on the cross include, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Soon after this, he breathed his last breath and died. When the centurion who was guarding Jesus saw what had happened, he exclaimed, "Surely this was the Son of God." A rich man named Joseph, who was also a member of the Jewish council, came forward to take Jesus' body. He wrapped it in a linen cloth, placed it in a new tomb, and rolled a stone in front of the entrance. Then he went home. On the third day, Mary Magdalene and some other women went to the tomb early in the morning. They found that the stone had been rolled away and the tomb was empty. An angel sat on the stone and told the women not to be afraid. He said that he knew they were looking for Jesus, who had been crucified. Then the angel told them to go quickly and tell the disciples that Jesus had risen from the dead and that he would see them in Galilee. The women hurried out of the tomb, running to tell the disciples what they had seen and heard. Later that day, the disciples gathered in a house in Galilee. They were hiding because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders. Suddenly, Jesus appeared among them and said, "Peace be with you." The disciples were frightened and thought that they were seeing a ghost. Then Jesus said to them, "Why are you troubled? And why do you doubt that it is I? Look at my hands and feet, that it is I indeed. I am not a ghost. Touch me and see, for a ghost does not have flesh and bones as you see that I have." Then the disciples were overjoyed. They worshipped Jesus and doubted no more. Thank you for watching this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you would like to support us and our creation of free educational videos, then please consider becoming a patron. The link is in the description below. We would also like to thank all of our patrons for their generous support. Special shout out to our top patrons. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more such amazing episodes. Have a great day and see you next time.